this morning about 4:15, grabbed my cap and bag and slipped out the door, hooked up my tractor to the U-Haul hitch, went and picked up Vince and we headed out to Pete the Sidge. Figured we'd try to get into some smallies in the Clearwater. Praying there wasn't nothing to get snagged up on. So we're cruising somewhere near Livingston. I had some herb in my bowl and I lit it again. I was jabbered at the jaw and crimson in the eye. On the way to Dale Hollow I was floating like a butterfly. Then I got stung by a bee. Had to squeeze the mustard, Uncle Vinny said wow. Then I saw the lights flash and my heart sank down. And the man strolled up with a real nice swing. And I rolled down the window and he smelled my weed. He said, I'm Officer Looper, the Tennessee State Trooper, and I'll take your license, and your registration, and your grass. I guess it was only a matter of time. He said, where are you heading? I said, to catch some bass. He said, step out under my magnifying glass. He made me watch his fingers and touch my nose, and then he made me count to 30, but then he let me go. Made my day. I reckon it was a little catch and release. So that there's my story, and I want you to know, if you're gonna go fishing, you better take her slow. Better look both ways and keep her in line. Let this be a lesson to you and your partners in crime. Always watch your 6 and 9. Don't roll through the stop sign. You don't always need to make the verses rhyme. Don't be mixing liquor with your wine. If you feel so inclined, keep me in mind. And by the way, only break one law at a time.
Hi, I'm John DeVore. Welcome to the channel. I was walking to work this morning, my commute, and I was thinking of album covers that have cars on them. And I was thinking about it. It started with that one. Classic Donald Byrd with that Jaguar E-Type on it. And I remember thinking, so the Toned Loc, one of his biggest albums, was a reproduction of this with a slightly later E-Type on it and Toned Loc on it. Homage, super cool. And I was just thinking of other albums that I have, other famous albums that have cars on the cover. And I thought that would be a fun way to filter records to talk about for a video. So I used to do, when I first built this office, this office is called Monkey House. When I first built Monkey House, I used to have pretty regular parties. And they were parties based around playing records. And after the first one or two, I started to make a theme for the evenings, mostly to make it a little bit more fun and maybe make it easier for people to pick out records to bring. I largely wanted to only play records that people were bringing, rather than sitting there picking through, spending the whole time picking through my record collection and trying to DJ for a party. I thought it was fun to just play records that people brought to the event. And so I used to start to give parameters for the music that we would want to play. So one of the early ones, it could only be music from a soundtrack. So, somebody brought a 45 of Hawaii Five-0. It was a lot of, there's Ellington soundtracks, there's Miles Davis soundtracks. There's a lot of Ry Cooder. It was great. It wasn't limiting in any way. It was a great way to sort of rummage around and find really cool tracks. I played my 45 of the SWAT theme. That was a fun one. I've done them where they could be mono only. I did one night where it could only be covers. So it could be anyone, but they couldn't be singing one of their original songs. They had to be singing a cover of some other song. That was a fun one. I did an evening of one-hit wonders, which was absolutely fun. It was a sort of a guilty pleasures kind of Guilty Pleasures, One Hit Wonder. That was super fun to do. So anyway, I thought that would be a fun thing to do for one of these record reviews. So, starting with Donald Byrd, A New Perspective, Donald Byrd and Voices. I came up with a short list, and during lunch, I picked through and found some good candidates. An obvious one, Candy-O. The car is Candy-O. That's a C3 Corvette. There, a Vargas drawing. You could tell Vargas was not particularly interested in drawing the car. He was a pretty legendary pinup artist. But there is a sketchy little outline of a C3 Vet. Obviously, classic album. Certainly one of, if not the best Cars records. Autobahn. Obviously, maybe more focused on the road than on the cars, but we have two classic German cars for this classic German band. We have a Mercedes Fintail and a Beetle. Another a gray one, a classic, absolutely a classic. Another obvious, we have Eliminator. That Eliminator is the name of ZZ Top's Ford Hot Rod. Definitely, in my opinion anyway, definitely not one of ZZ Top's best records. Probably their biggest selling record, but I vastly prefer the early records to this. But it's got great songs on it. It's a keeper. It's a good album. This one is kind of hilarious. I've had this one for a million years. This is an old mono record, I think from the late 50s. Recorded in England in 1958. And it is racing cars of the era. So, David Scott Moncrief, who is the announcer, oh my God, it's hilarious. It's like, and then here we have a Type 51 Bugatti, and here we have a P3 Alfa Romeo. Just hilarious. Very ridiculous album. So, in the early days of hi-fi, early to mid days of hi-fi, there was a genre of records that came out that were essentially high-fidelity sound effects. And some of the famous ones from the stereo era were trains, like locomotives, crashing from the left channel to the right channel and back and forth. And it was, I guess audiophiles back in the day, they would like to play these and pretend that they were cars and trains and boats floating around in their listening room. Anyway, this is a version of that, but the thing is, it has really cool cars. I mean, one of the cars is a V16 Maserati, which is just insanely rare. The Alfa, the Bugatti that I mentioned, Fraser Nash. It's very cool, and it's cool to hear the cars, the legendary motor cars. Another one. This is one of my absolute favorite records. This is a soundtrack. This could have been played. I don't think it was. Maybe it was played. This is a soundtrack. This is a Miles Davis soundtrack from 1970 for a movie about the boxer, the very early 20th century boxer, Jack Johnson. And he was a dominant boxer. He was also unashamedly black and had a penchant for beautiful women and fancy cars and expensive clothing, just like most boxers have. The real difference was that he was black, and it was a big thing in the early 20th century. And it was a movie about Jack Johnson, and that's Jack Johnson in a bright yellow Rolls Royce, surrounded by glamorous women. So that is a prominent car on a great record. Those are sessions It's largely the same group. Miles' same group from In a Silent Way, which is my favorite Miles Davis record. And Teo Macero sort of constructed the songs, also similar to In a Silent Way. It's one song on each side. And Teo Macero sort of constructed the songs in the editing room, and he used a bunch of stuff left over from the In a Silent Way sessions, and it has a very similar vibe. McLaughlin on guitar. I don't think it's Joe Zawinul though on keyboards, but it is really awesome. Who do we have here? Davis, Steve Grossman on sax, Herbie Hancock on organ, rather than Joe Zawinul, John McLaughlin electric guitar again, Michael Henderson on bass, and Billy Cobham on drums. I thought there was another drummer too here and there. Maybe not. I thought DeJohnette was on this, but maybe he isn't. Anyway, excellent record, great Miles Davis record. Even if you're not collecting albums with cars on the cover, it's a great record. And that brings me to two relatively contemporary ones. One is it's Billy Strings. Billy Strings. This is called Highway Prayers. Yeah, Highway Prayers. This is from a few years ago. Some number of years that I'm not going to be able to determine from the back. This is a great record. So genre busting for this channel, I guess, and this is a country album. Man, can this guy play. I've had this record for about a year and a half. I play it a lot. It's very tasty. It's great songwriting. I think most of these are originals. But this guy can play guitar. He is a phenom on guitar. Last week I saw he was on Rick Beato, and just talking about how he came up. He's very young. This is this and the one I'm going to do next are both current albums, and both by young, phenomenal artists, young artists who are at the top of their respective craft. So Billy Strings, monster guitar player, flat picker for the most part. Man, can he shred. And another master of his craft. This is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. I think I've talked about Kendrick Lamar before in another video. GNX, the Grand National. This is the hot-rodded, the factory hot rod GNX Buick. Great car. Great album. Grammy winning. First diss track to win a Grammy as well. I think it won single and it won album. And great halftime show. Just killer. It also sounds great. This one and the Billy Strings. Really good sounding. So, yeah, there are some albums with cars on the front that I can highly recommend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.
All I ever wanted was a black Grand National. Fuck being rational, give them what they asked for. It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that'll reach that, but it's not enough. Say bigger than myself, but it's not enough. I get on their ass. If somebody gotta do it, I make them niggas mad. If somebody gotta do it, I take a G-pad. Yeah, watch a nigga do it. We survived outside, all from the music, nigga. What? They like, what he on? This the Alpha and Omega, bitch. Welcome home. This is not a song, this a revelation, how to get a nigga gone. Teach you a man, baby, I don't understand, baby. Pay a bill and make you feel protected like I can, baby. Teach you something if you need correction, that's the plan, baby. Don't put your life in weird niggas' hands, baby. It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that'll reach that, but it's not enough. Say bigger than myself, but it's not enough. I get on their ass. If somebody gotta do it, I make them niggas mad. If somebody Everybody gotta do it. I tell the G pass. Yeah, watch a nigga do it. We survived outside, all from the music, nigga. What? Hey, turn this TV off. Ain't with my type activities, then don't you get involved. Hey, what? How many shit I seen? Send them all. Take a risk or take a trip. You know I'm tripping for my dog. Who you with? Couple sergeants and lieutenants for the get back. This revolution been televised. I fell through with the knickknacks. Hey, young nigga, get your chili up. Yeah, I meant that. Hey, black out if they act out. Yeah, I did that. Hey, what's up, though? I hate a bitch that's hating on a bitch, and they both hoes. I hate a nigga hating on them niggas, and they both broke. If you ain't coming for no chili, what you come for? Nigga feel like he entitled, cause he knew me since a kid. Bitch, I cut my granny off and she don't see it how I see it. Got a big mouth, but he lack big ideas. Send him to the moon, that's just how I feel, yelling. It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that are rich, that, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough.